We're back. We're talking college football, season right around the corner, Arkansas football. I think that they really do have a claim to the hardest schedule in college football this year. There's a couple teams that might debate them on that, whether it's Florida, another SEC team, most likely an SEC team based on how the strength of schedule conversation has been going. Where do you see this schedule for Arkansas ranking among not just in the SEC, but in college football as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, this schedule, according to a lot of publications, is definitely top 10. Phil Steele has them as the third hardest schedule in the country. ESPN has them as the number 5 hardest schedule in the country. I would say it's 1A and 1B with Florida. I give Florida the nod at 1A, but what makes this schedule so hard is Notre Dame and what Marcus Freeman brings to his well-coached teams. Memphis, even from a Group of 5 perspective, is usually pretty competitive. They were right there in the AAC last year with Tulane. And then you have the in-conference. I mean, you're playing Texas, Texas A&M, LSU, Missouri, and then it's the order. I mean, it doesn't really slow down too much. There's no, typical SEC bye week game in there in that November stretch, unless you count Mississippi State, and Mississippi State's gonna be gunning for a win too. So I give this the second hardest schedule in the country.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take them number 1 hardest schedule in the country, and I think it's because of the 2 out of conference games if we want to compare with Florida. So if we want to compare Miami and Florida State to a Memphis and Notre Dame, I think I would rather play the Miami and Florida State at this point. Now, there's other things in there that piece it together, but I'll say Memphis coming into last season was my pick for the G5 team that was going to be in the playoffs. I think this year, just as strong of a chance of being that team to take the G5 spot. They'll be on the road. It's not often that you see SEC teams taking a road game, especially to a G5 school.
Yeah.
And they'll be doing it with Memphis. And then they go play Notre Dame the week after. That's going to be really tough, especially when there's not going to be a lot of season for them to really practice on before that. You'll play Alabama A&M, you'll play Arkansas State, you get Ole Miss on the road, but then you're right into it.
Yeah,
at that point.
You're right in the mix. And I mean, and Liberty Bowl is a pretty big venue for Memphis. I think it holds about like 35,000, 40,000 plus fans. That's going to be a pretty tough matchup. That's a one that those fans will show up. I mean, they're close in terms of fandom to a Tennessee in some ways. Like they're going to show up. You get Notre Dame at home. It's at noon. That'll be another tough one. It's hard. And then I think, I personally believe that Miami and Florida State are better than, at least Miami for sure is better than Memphis, but you could argue Florida State's in the air. We don't know what we're going to see this year compared to last season.
Yeah. Texas has a bit of a claim there too, to a tough schedule, playing Ohio State on the road, the defending champion. I think that's that's the hardest out-of-conference game in the conference, playing the defending champion. But then what Arkansas has to do by playing at LSU, at Texas, Texas A&M as well, it's going to be a tough stretch. Now, do I feel confident in Arkansas? I felt confident in them last year, and I was kind of let down. So until I see it this season, it's going to be tough to say. They're over/under win total 5.5 wins. I think that they're going to be over, but I hope it's not like a blind faith that I'm carrying over from last season.
Yeah, I felt pretty confident last season too, and I'm in the same boat as you where like Taylon Green, you look at his stats, he's pretty much had the same stats the last 3 years, roughly 11 or 12 passing touchdowns. And 1 year I think he had 14, and he has 9 picks each season. I'm waiting to see that jump. I think Arkansas fans are waiting to see that jump. And then you lose your 2 best receivers. One transfers to Oklahoma. The other one goes to the league and Andrew Armstrong. I'm wondering where that production is going to be found. In addition to losing your running back to the draft as well, they picked up Mike Washington from New Mexico State. And they had Braylon Russell coming back as well, big dog. I think I want to see more from Green, kind of limiting the interceptions, commanding the offense the way I think he's capable. And then that'll make me feel more confident about them hitting this 5.5 over/under win total.
Yeah, I mean, the receiving 2 top receivers, they lost 6 in total. They lost one to a whole different sport entirely. So I mean, the wide receiver room got completely scrapped. Guy deciding to run track, but they brought in 7 new transfers, like you said. The question is Taylor Green going to be better in his second year there? I think yes. I think he gets more comfortable in the pocket as opposed to being a play extender. I think the play extending came as a result of poor O-line play more often than not. Yeah, I mean, I have them getting above a win total. I have them winning about six games. So that's where I'll sit with them comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, I think 6 is findable. I like you talked about it, and I think this is like one of the number one factors when it comes to strength of schedule is not just who you're playing, but where you're playing. And you play Texas and LSU on the road; those are both very tough games to play. And LSU and Arkansas have the battle for the boot trophy. You get Tennessee on the road as well. You upset them last year at home. They're going to be coming for blood this year. I think that they can hang against Auburn. They beat them last year. I think they can hang against Mississippi State. I think they can hang against Missouri. And then they've proven they can steal a quality win last year with Tennessee. I'm curious, do you think they can steal an LSU game or a Texas game, or do you see them stealing A&M or Notre Dame? Or where do you see that 6 win?
I can see it being A&M. I would see A&M probably the best because I think that they'll benefit from the home field. In that, I think that's going to play a factor. I think traveling at the end of the season to LSU, to Texas, it doesn't matter. They're coming off of a bye. That's going to be tough. So I'm going to put that swing game on A&M to be one to help get them over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, I like the A&M pick. I'm sitting between 6-6 and 7-5. I think last year they played Missouri pretty close. It was in the snow. I could see them potentially pulling that one out depending on how the season goes. So I'll give them that 6-6 to 7-5 swing line above the over and under.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as the strength of schedule rankings fluctuate, I think that Memphis will continue to do well. Notre Dame will continue to do well. So their rankings should probably stay about the same. We'll see how some of these other teams shake out. To those of you listening, if you think there's a team that has a harder schedule than Arkansas, let us know who it is. If it's going to be Texas, if it is another SEC team, Florida, whoever it may be, or if it's out of conference, let us know. We'd love to hear. And as always, like, follow, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you for tuning in, y'all. This is a new SEC podcast.